Hi, hey, hello. So we're gonna be going into a little bit of a darker video today. It's not gonna be one of my more fun videos, like how most of my other videos are. No, today we're gonna be talking about suicide ideation. I don't know if you can read that. I can't really read it from like the recording I see, but it's written in green. And that's cool. It's also written backwards because my camera's flipped, and I wanted to let you know that I got the schmoves with it. But yeah, today we're talking about suicide ideation, which you may be thinking, yo, Gavin, why do you want to talk about suicide ideation? And to answer your question, it's because it affects a lot of people. I'm not pointing fingers here, but I'm saying it does affect people like you and I. And I also would like to say that it's something worth talking about. We always talk about like the suicide itself, right? We're like, oh, this person killed themselves. You see the billboards, you see the stats, which men dominate in, okay? So I'm just saying. We do have the stats to back it up. This is not something to flex over. I was almost a statistic, and I'm gonna stop talking. That's what I'm gonna do. We don't really talk about like the thought process behind it. We always talk about the actions and the subsequent consequences. I don't know if I'm using that right, but anyway, let's get down into like the meat and bones of this video here. So what is suicide ideation? The TLDR of it is just suicidal thoughts. It's how people think about killing themselves, So just because somebody's having suicidal thoughts doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to kill themselves. But like somebody could be thinking about killing themselves without wanting to kill themselves. It's just like a fleeting thought that happens way too often. I mean, some I'm going through right now. Like, I have no intentions of like offing myself, but I still think about it sometimes. And is that wrong? I don't think so. It's just some people go through. We can't control our thoughts, but we can control what we do about them, and that's like the big thing about it. So how does somebody get to a point where they're thinking about killing themselves? A lot of it's depression and anxiety. They're comorbid, which means if somebody's suffering from depression, they most likely have anxiety. That's just kind of how it goes. That's how it went for me. But yeah, it's usually because we're sad, it sucks, but like that's just it is what it is. So another way people get to a point like this is if they have like a perfect storm of life events that hit them. It's like a bunch of shit just coming at you from every direction, and you don't have superpowers, so you can't like defend yourself from everything, and it all just kind of like it like fucks you over. It's kind of like Oklahoma, where the wind patterns just kind of breed a natural ground for like a bunch of tornadoes. It's people get to a point of suicide ideation because of like a perfect storm that happens to them. Just a bunch of shit happens, and then they just can't take it anymore. The pressure gets to them, and it's just stressful, and it sucks, and it's like I need a break type shit. So now I want to talk about what people actually think about whenever they're having suicidal thoughts. Believe it or not, they think about suicide, which is crazy, I know. but I want to talk about like the process of getting there. And I laugh about this because like I've been through it, dog. It's not fun. I don't even know how I'm back here, dude. Anyways, so a lot of it starts with feeling like angry, hopeless, and alone. Those are like the three big things that really like kickstart this. And then also feeling depressed, and anxious. There are a lot of factors in it, but the big three are alone, hopeless, and angry. angry. I can't. This is just how I count, and then I forget that it's a gang sign, so I gotta blur that out. You know, it's like, dude, I hate living my fucking life right now. This is horrible. This is not it. This is not what I like to see on tuna casserole night. It's that kind of like anger with it, you know? I guess I wouldn't call it anger. I would call it like fed up. You know, I'm just sick of this shit type shit. It's tough. And then also people would be like, oh yeah, nobody really cares about what I'm going through, you know, nobody really cares about me. I don't even care about me, so why should anybody else? And then, you know, it's just doubt upon doubt upon doubt. Self-esteem gets lowered, and lowered. It gets dropped like it's fucking hot. And it's not like we want to think this way. It's more like this is just how it happens. As I said before, we can't control our thoughts, but we can control what we do about it. And it's not like we don't try to control that. We definitely do. It just gets to you sometimes. It just gets to you. And it sucks. But like, it's fine, right? And then you start thinking like, oh my god, I don't have anybody here with me through this. I'm going through this alone. And on a certain level, like, we're also like not, you know, because it's scary talking about this stuff. It's really scary talking about this stuff to like people you care about, right? Because you don't want them to worry about you. Then you feel weak, and then you feel guilty about it, and then that sucks, and then it spirals even more out of control, and then bada bing bada boom, you keep going down, you know? It's a slippery slope. But that's like the three big things that people think about whenever they're really going through it. Those are the three big things I thought about that ran through my mind all the time whenever I was going through this stuff. And then after that, it kind of progresses to a bunch of like what if statements, like, what if I did kill myself? Would it even matter? The answer is yes. BT dubs. I would like to think yes, personally. I would really like to think yes. Sometimes it really doesn't feel that way. Sometimes it feels like, oh, well, he's gone, which I know I shouldn't think, but it does. You know, like what if I did kill myself? What would change? Would it matter in the grand scheme of things? You never know. And then it finally progresses to like the how, which is the scary part. How can I kill myself? I'm not going to give any examples just in case somebody's watching this and they're going through what I am and they're like, like I accidentally give them an idea. This is the part a lot of people think about whenever people talk about suicide ideation. This is the part everybody thinks is suicide ideation. It isn't. It's one part of it, but that's not what suicide ideation is. It's one part of it, yes, but it's not the whole picture. Let me draw it out for you. So like this right here is the how can I kill myself, and this is what most people think about whenever we talk about suicide ideation. That's not the case. This is the whole picture. Like there's all of this, like what I was talking about earlier, the what ifs, the feelings, the how we got here. It's all of this combined into like one fucked up circle. This is really what I think we should be talking about. But how do we get there? You know, how do we get to the stats that we're at? And how can we try to help prevent it? That's a bit above my pay grade, but you know, I think it's an important conversation to have. So now we're gonna move on to how do people feel whenever they're kind of going through this. And it's a lot of like hopelessness. That's like the main thing I would probably point out of everything. It's like, oh, am I actually going to get out of this? I don't think I'm gonna get out of this. So what's the point in like trying, you know? It's a lot of like hopeless feelings, a lot of alone feeling too. Cause like you think nobody really gets it, right? They don't really get what you're going through. Whenever I say nobody, I mean the people close to you. I don't mean like nobody as in everybody in the world, cause like people do know what you're going through. It's more the people that you care about that you feel don't get it, right? And those are the people you really want to get it so that they can help you and you can like lean on them. The people you want to understand don't understand. And that's why people feel alone during this. That's why I felt alone whenever I was going through this. Like, I was off on my own fucking journey. I was way out in the boonies over there, like mentally, while everybody else was over here. And I just felt like nobody got it. Nobody that I wanted to get it got it. And that was really hard. That's why I felt so alone whenever I was going through this shit. Like, I wasn't wrong, as far as I'm aware, you know. I never really tried to talk to people either because I felt so alone, because I thought nobody got it. So I was like, what's the point in even talking about it? That's where that hopeless feeling came back into play. Alright, so I got a little tips and tricks segment for you guys. It's like a do and don't list of like, if somebody you care about is going through this is what you should and shouldn't do. It's like a guideline. Like you can do whatever you want, you know. I'm not going to be the dictator of it. And you definitely shouldn't take me as like a sense of authority to do it. But I don't know, take it from me, dog. So the one big thing that you can really do for the other person is try to show them that they matter to you. It was the big thing that got me out of it. Like, the friends I had and then meeting new family members, those are like the two big things that just kind of yoink, you know, it took me out of that depression, which was really nice. But I also do consider myself very lucky for it. And it's hard to show them that they matter to you, you know. It's really hard, and it's especially hard if you've never been through something like that, because you don't know what the fuck to do. I've been through it. I still don't know what the fuck to do. It's kind of just tough, you know. Try inviting them to things, like if you're going out, if you're going to the movie, you should be like, hey, you wanna come? We're going to see Harold and the Purple Crayon. And then they might look at you like, okay. And then, you know, it could lead to something. Another way to help them is by like reaching out, but not in a way of like checking up on them, you know. It's kind of like a reaching out as in like, hey, guess what happened to me today type thing, instead of like, hey, how are you doing? I know you've been kind of sad. It's like, dude, I'm already sad. Don't make me feel worse. That does actually like not help, by the way. But yeah, reach out to them in like a way of like mutual respect type shit, you know. If you do feel pity for them, don't show it, but like reach out to them and just talk to them like they're a normal person, like they're still the same person, because they might not be, but they don't want to not feel that way. And then like another thing that you can do for them is go buy them a burger or something, you know. Like, show them that you care about them. It's tough to do. Don't get me wrong, it's very tough to do, but it really does help. Another thing you could do for them is just like listen to them, you know, and then try to empathize with them rather than relating to them. Like, if somebody came up to you and they were like, hey, I really want to kill myself, do you know what that's like? If the answer is yes, hey, come talk to me, I do too. But if you don't know what that's like, then don't try to relate to them, but do try to like empathize with them, you know. You'd be like, oh, I don't know what you're going through, but I am here for you, you know, that kind of thing, you know. Which leads me into my next point. Use I statements rather than you statements. Like, instead of saying you're not alone, say I'm here with you. And the reason why you use I statements is because then they don't feel like they're being talked down to. You know, it's that whole mutual respect thing all over again. You know, you don't want them to feel belittled, because then they feel worse about it. You do the same thing in arguments, by the way. Like, if you're arguing with basically anybody, you want to use I statements if you don't want like the situation to be escalated, and so that you feel heard. Now we're gonna move on to the don'ts. Like this is stuff that sounds like it'll be a good idea to tell somebody who's like going through this kind of stuff, but it really isn't. So the first example I got is saying God gives his strongest warriors his toughest battles. no, he does not. Somebody said that to me and it was like, wow, thanks. No, not even thanks. Like, no, that's not me. That's some other bitch. That ain't me. I am not as strong as warrior. You know, the toughest battle I face every day is waking up whenever my alarm goes off and not setting 4 other alarms so I can get another hour of sleep afterwards. And then the second toughest battle is actually getting out of bed. Whenever somebody says that to you, then you just like feel weak, dog. You feel like you're not doing good enough, you know? That's one, pointing out that you are struggling, right? Which is like, wow, thanks. Like, I already didn't feel insecure about it. And the second thing is like, yeah, you could be doing better, you know? We can't even like argue against it because like you're just looking out for us. Like, all we can say is, wow, thanks. It feels bad. And it doesn't seem like it should feel bad, but it does. Another thing that people like to say is, we're here for you, which is like really nice. Like, I really do appreciate it whenever people say that to me. But it's also one of those feel bads, you know? Cause it's like, oh, you know I'm struggling, 1, and then 2, I made you worry about me because I'm struggling. So then like I start to feel guilty about it. Then that just makes it worse, cause then you're like, oh well now I need to like get my act up so that people stop worrying about me. And then that feels worse, and then you're like, well, man, why am I already like this? Oh, people are finding out. Oh no. And then it just spirals out of control. I really do understand where you're coming from. I really do understand where you're coming from. But that's just not what I need to hear.